'cause you never can tell. There just might be a gremlin in your house.
I could plug it into like one of those, like little breaks.
Dude, yeah, you could. Yeah, I would. I'd suggest that.
I think that's what I should do in the future. But for now, I'm ready to go goblin mode on your ass.
Hey guys, it's Dylan and Joe from the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. Welcome to another episode of We're Gonna Go Goblin on Your Ass.
Goblin mode.
I'm Dylan. I'm one of the hosts here. We're excited to have you back, or if it's your first time, or if you're here again. We're sorry to disappoint you that there's no ladies on this episode today. Our last episode was a fucking rock show, and we're pumped to be back.
GoblinsOnly.com.
This is GoblinsOnly.com. So that's Joe. Joe, what's up?
What's up, everybody? Give me your gold. I'm Joe.
That's Joe. Before we get started into goblins and more of the spooky season, if it's okay with the board, I do want to dedicate this particular episode of the podcast to Amu Haji. Amu Haji, we shout out to you, buddy, for 94 years you roamed this planet and you obtained the title of original fucking OG world's dirtiest man. Shout out to you, my buddy. He died the other day.
Incarnate.
Yeah, yes, he is. Our friend Amu Haji died from his first contact with soap over 67 years.
You have to kind of settle into your world, and if you are settled into being the dirtiest man ever and not bathing for 50 years, you just gotta let it ride. I don't know why he got bathed. I assume it was not his idea, because why would he suddenly come to the epiphany of that? But yeah, he got bathed, and then what was it, 6 months later?
Yeah, so he had his own system going on. And speaking of his system, I do want to bring it up a little bit. It's a little bit goblin-like.
He must have not had many friends, though, because of the stench.
I don't know. He sounded pretty cool. I mean, he's worth maybe definitely an interview on it for the Dylan Joe Basin podcast. We did miss it, unfortunately, but
we'll get the Ouija board. We'll give him an interview. But yeah, definitely want to hang out with him outside, I think. Not in a small room.
At that point, is he even going to smell? I mean, he might just smell like a farm animal.
Worse than that.
Have you ever met the world's dirtiest man, or anyone even close?
Well, even animals, they have ways of cleaning themselves, and they try to do it. You know what I mean? And he just had no desire to do that, so he just he said he stopped bathing after emotional setbacks in his youth, but he stopped bathing. He started not bathing when he was in his 30s. Wow. Yeah,
so is that you?
So there's still time for us to start not bathing, dude.
Easily. Could live in a van down by the river. It doesn't. That shit shows up in your 30s. It doesn't get started in your 20s.
Yeah.
So, anyways, with this guy, I just want to say the dogs.
They're mad that he passed away, and so
they are. And he lived on it. Speaking of smelling, so this might be why you're onto something besides his look. Here he is. I'll show you guys what he looks like. He lived on a diet of raw animal meat.
Oh my God.
Of cigarettes a day.
I was going to say, this picture I saw of him when it was like dirtiest man alive, he had 5 cigarettes in his mouth.
So that's his thing. He believed on smoking 6 cigarettes at a time and eating only raw animal meat.
Dude,
and not showering, obviously.
Philip Morris has to get this guy as a sponsor. It's too bad he died, but like that, if he smoked a pack of cigarettes a day, he's 94 and he didn't bathe. I don't know what better advertisement for smoking cigarettes there is. It's like everyone who smokes cigarettes dies younger than they should have, besides this guy who died way, way older than he should have. He really should have died when he was like 45 of like sepsis.
God knows. Yeah, exactly. So the Tehran in Iran times, that's Iran, right? Tehran?
Yeah, that's their capital, I think.
Okay. Tehran Times did a piece on him in 2014, which gives more detail into his life. Haji ate roadkill, drank puddle water from a rusty pail,
I don't understand this.
smoked animal feces from a plumbing pipe, and they have a picture of him doing it.
Oh,
Preferred his cigarettes. Sorry, you're right. Preferred his cigarettes 5 at a time, and refused to bathe out of a fear of getting sick.
Is he just like blessed or something? And then he just like was like shoving it in all our faces. He literally doing everything you can do to try to die by consuming things, and he lived longer than almost any person in the history of mankind. It's just,
I think he's just
something. He's just genetically.
Well, it's like Europeans. They live longer than Americans, and they rip fucking Davidoffs all day, and they're just less stressed. I was talking to some people.
I guess
from
that
work.
guy probably had no stress. Like he didn't have to impress anybody.
Didn't give a shit. His neighbors built him like a doghouse, basically, because they said if they didn't do that, he was sleeping in like a hole, like just like a dugout, like foxhole that he made. He just didn't give a shit. He goes, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to bed here. I'm not gonna worry about anything at all."
Yeah,
like
I can imagine he's not really big into like planning for his life or like having like long-term goals and projects and stuff. You know.
Yeah, if I take a wild guess, he's probably celibate too.
5 cigarettes at a time, you're probably celibate. Yeah, so I hope he is. We don't need that.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, if he was just fucking jerking it in that hole, people would probably be in jail. So he didn't even do that really.
I think he probably did sometimes, but probably less than the average human.
Have you seen his hands?
Have you seen his dick?
That's a good. That you fucking got me. Tic-tac-toed me big time.
R.I.P. to Haji. We love you.
Yeah, we love you, man. You're no G.
We all be like you and just literally not give a shit about what anyone thinks about you, to the point where you're disgusting and you live forever.
And to the point that you're smoking shit out of a PVC pipe.
I mean, that really is next level.
Yeah, that's
not caring about your respiratory health whatsoever. Or
didn't work. Wasn't fucking his problem.
Apparently not. That must have been quite a funeral, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But speaking of,
they just threw threw him in a dumpster.
Speaking of disgusting little devious people who just make all the wrong decisions and keep on living anyways, we're talking about goblins today, folks. Yeah, little creepy little guys. Interesting. Haven't seen a lot of female goblins in my research, but I imagine there has to be some. I don't know if they're like dwarves or they spring out of rocks or something like that. But
well, dude, females aren't evil.
No.
So that's why they're not in here, because they're perfect.
Yeah. All of them.
All of them are like flawless.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course.
Yeah.
And when we stand by, and that's the official stance of the Don't Jump Basement podcast. I'll put my number right here.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't think that I'm charismatic and attractive after watching this with my wife beater on and talking about goblins for an hour, then what can I do for you, baby? Come on.
If you don't like it, leave it. Or you get what you get and you don't get upset. What are we gonna do, ladies?
Come on, pick one. You gotta pick one. So I wanted to talk about goblins today. Do you want me to start the classic way, which is like the middle school essay version of how to start a conversation, which is Webster defines goblins as blank. Well, our Webster is the most informational website of all time, what people talk shit about, and that's Wikipedia. Goes a little something like this: a goblin is a small, grotesque, monstrous, a lot of adjectives, creature that appears in folklore of multiple European cultures. First attested in stories from the Middle Ages, they are ascribed conflicting abilities, temperaments, and appearances, but basically they're all mischievous, and they all love to kind of like mess your life up. They're not completely evil, like they're not out to destroy the world, but they are out to make you upset, and they're out for numero uno. They're very selfish, if not tribal. Goblins.
Yep, so that's goblins, folks. There's many types of goblins.
It doesn't say green in the definition, but I always picture them as being like green with pointy ears, like little green guys with pointy ears. Usually probably like their head is bigger than their body, like they have like a big head, big nose, big ears, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Like World of Warcraft goblins. Behind you, for anyone who's not watching the podcast, Joe has a very fucking spicy picture of two goblins from the
Yeah.
game Oblivion.
Yep, Elder Scrolls Oblivion goblins. And again, that wasn't mentioned in it either, because I think back in European folklore and stuff, they have these ideas of them like living in houses, like Dobby from Harry Potter. I'm gonna bring that up later. But I always picture them like in Oblivion, where they live in caves and underground, and they kind of just sort of like, you know, the hissing creatures of the night, kind of like little rats. Like they don't like to hang out on beaches and in the nice sunny day. They like to kind of hide in their cave and kind of like steal your stuff. And if you go in there, they're not gonna be nice to you. They're gonna give you some pokes, make you bleed a little bit.
Yeah, because they have their own interest as well. But I think that mostly what they're motivated by is kind of just being annoying, like evil,
mischievous little imps.
grotesque, mischievous little household assholes, or not household. That's what it says, but bestial thieves, malicious,
definitely little tricksters,
little fucking shitty,
conniving little
assholes. Like the one, like I always picture like a goblin being I can say gremlin because it's very close. Goblins being like in the movie Trick or Treat. There's that little fucking thing with the potato sack on it, and it just runs around. It has like a really small dagger, but stabs you 4,000 times. That's how it kills you, as opposed to just cutting your head off with a battle axe.
Yeah, goblins. They're definitely more of no battle axes, no big warhammer. They're little daggers, just a death by 1,000 cuts of goblin stabs.
Yeah. Like in Zelda, they're always by the fire dancing. Like they're very folklore based little fucking annoying things where there's sometimes, especially if you're going through campaign mode in any of these games, actually, which
you're gonna run into them.
You're gonna run into them, and they might end up killing you more than probably most things. Like you come across a troll that's fucking giant, and you have to learn how to deal with the troll. But all of a sudden, you're almost going to kill the troll. Then one gremlin just fucking pokes you in the ass with its little dagger, and you die. And that happens more often than actually any other bad guy. Is these little guys get you?
It's true. That's their thing. Like just when you think you're upset, they just will stab in the back there, and they'll stab you in the back and in the front and all around. I didn't even think about Zelda, but I thought that we just kind of like run through a couple of the goblins they have in history so that we can get to the pop culture stuff we always like to talk about, which is things like Oblivion, to go through there.
Absolutely. I think your plan is rock solid. Let's do it.
Yeah. Some of the ones from European folklore, which is they seem to come from. I also found out that it's an older word than that, because there's a Latin word for goblin, and goblins go way back. And that word is like, you know, when people are speaking English and they try to speak Spanish and they just like add O's and L's in the front of it, like El Churcho. Mm-hmm. This sounds like someone was like, what's Latin for goblin? And someone was like, gobelinus, which is the Latin word for goblin. It just sounds like someone made it up right now, not 1,000 years
ago. Yeah, exactly.
The Latin word for goblin is goblinus.
El Goblin is Spanish for goblin.
Maximus, or whatever. Yeah, it's goblin.
All right, we're hitting play. So,
well, goblins, man. When I picture goblins, I picture this noise here, like that.
Yeah,
like a little dog. It's like getting really angry, like. That's what I picture what goblins probably sound like.
So before we get into folklore, I do want to just briefly mention that we have two different things, because they are two different things. Mm-hmm. We have folklore and we have fiction. Goblins show up in both. So there is a distinction to this.
Yes, indeed.
So let's make sure everyone knows that there's a lot of goblins in folklore, which is very interesting.
Yeah, because
sometimes
it's more like this actually is real, and fiction is like, well, it's not real, but it's interesting.
Like exactly, like right. So let's go into folklore, see what happens.
So the goblins in folklore, they come up. I mean, most of this happens in England and Scotland, but there's ones in Germany, like the Erkling is a malevolent goblin in Germany. The Trasgu in northern Spain and Portugal, that I think actually came from Celtic origin. I think it came from those British Isles down there. There's the hobgoblin, which is probably the most popular little brand of goblin, and that one is more associated with like living at your house and like tricking you, and basically like a really bad house guest. But they will do chores and stuff for you, but while they're doing it, they'll fuck you up. Like they'll kick over a can of milk, and they'll like rearrange all your spices and your food and stuff just to fuck with you. Again, they're not these hobgoblins and stuff. They're not gonna kill you when you're sleeping. They're just gonna make your life miserable. But they will contribute to the household if you respect them and you give them chores to do. They will do them out of a sense of pride.
Kind of reminds me of a leprechaun.
Yes, and I think that as we go on the conversation, you're going to find a lot of parallels with leprechauns, especially the love of gold, the trickery, and all in all, kind of mythical creatures. They're kind of somewhere between like monsters and leprechauns and fairies, like all combined in a little bestial package there. The other ones I found was one type called the red cap, which that one kind of haunted me. Have you heard about this? It's
yes, I did. I read
they
about
have
this.
the red hat because of all the blood of their victims, and they had blood red eyes. Especially they had bad eyesight, which I think is probably true for most goblins, because like a lot of creatures that live in caves or underground, like a mole or a naked mole rat, or any of those other ones, they don't have to see that well because they just go by smell and feel alone, or like a bat, those pointy ears and those little jagged teeth. So the red hat goblins, they'll kill you, and their preferred method is not stabbing. It is bashing you with a rock and then dipping their hat in your blood and taking all your goods. And that one is particularly associated with Christianity. I thought was funny. They can be banished by the cross or by praying. I was like, I didn't even know goblins were part of that at all, but that's the red cap from what I saw.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them yet, but I'll take it. I mean, that's nice. Yeah.
Speaking of folklore, it's been attributed to this after the fact that Rumpelstiltskin was actually a red hat goblin because he has a red hat and he has very goblin-like tendencies. Do you remember who Rumpelstiltskin is?
I mean, it's like a nursery rhyme bullshit guy, right? He's not that cool. He's kind of shitty.
He's a tricky bastard.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact story, and I should have looked it up before because I didn't know it was talking about this long. But basically, he's the one who can spin hair into gold.
Nice.
So he like takes whatever, the farmer's daughter or whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna take your hair and spin it into gold. But she pricks her finger on the thing, much like Sleeping Beauty style, and she falls into a deep sleep. And basically, you can't get rid of Rumpelstiltskin once he's part of your house, because you think, oh, this guy's gonna make me rich, but he starts doing all kinds of tricks, ruining your life. And the only way to wake her up and get rid of him is to say his name.
Wow.
So very goblin-like guy. And if you guessed 100 different names, you would have never guessed Rumpelstiltskin. So that's one of his little benefits there. He's like, well, you never guessed my name. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, and I just have bad memories of him. Just like I said, they're just being like shitty, like a shitty.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Shitty situation, shitty guy. Not a good person to be. What
so
I
get on board with him being a goblin.
Absolutely. My favorite type of goblin, you already mentioned it briefly, but it stems from Earl Konig, and it's the Earl King. And it looks like Erkling, but it's Earl King, but it's also.
Oh, sorry, I pronounced it wrong.
Yeah, it's ERLKING, and I think Erkling sounds good, but it's
because it's like little goblin.
Erkin fucking shit out of you type of shit. So it's a little worse than that. This little fuck is a sinister elf who lingers in the woods, who stalks children who stay in the woods for too long and then kills them with a single touch.
Ooh, that's much more devious than just stealing their money or poking them or spilling milk. I mean, that's
exactly. So like, I don't know what the deal is in Germany with like kids in the woods and shit, but like I don't know why they would come up with this to try to preserve their children or get them out of the woods so often. But this guy, I think that sucked.
Almost all of those tales, we've talked about some of them in the past in the episode, is to try to it's ways of teaching kids not to do things without having to explain to them like an adult why you don't go in the woods. Like tales like Hansel and Gretel or the Earl Kings or things like that. It's like there is dangers in the woods. You can get lost. It's scary. Animals can get you. But instead of trying to describe like the intricacies of the woods to kids in order to get them to stay safe, you just go, hey, if you go in there, there's a little goblin that if it touches you, you die. So don't go in. And that's enough for a kid to be like, I'm terrified of the woods. I'm not going to go in there. Or there's a witch that's going to eat you. It's not really trying to describe to them, like, probably a lot of the adults didn't really think that there's a danger of a witch getting them, even though I'm sure some did. I think it's more started out as like a way to kind of tales to be like, Santa Claus is watching you, so you have to be good. It's kind of a way to like tell kids, like, I can't really explain to you like an adult what this is, but there's goblins out there. Just don't go out there. Okay.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. And you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I think is just the funniest thing is like, we're like, oh, there's the elf on the shelf watching you, or there's Santa Claus. If you're not good, he's going to fucking put you cool anything. And they're like, Du bist ein Earl King.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like,
in the forest.
Yeah. And whatever, like, it's way scarier. Imagine a kid and just hearing the language of German. And then you're like, I don't know if I can go near that. It's like that show Dark.
You brought up the elf on the shelf because I think there's a lot of association between elves and folklore and goblins. Like, we sometimes think of elves as like the modern RPG or like Lord of the Rings version where they're like humans with pointy ears who live a long time. But a lot of elves in folklore and stuff are like little tiny, like Santa's elves, like little tiny worker guys. And a lot of these goblins seem kind of like that too. In fact, in Serbia and Bulgaria, they have the concept of the Kalitskanazzas, which are elves that live underground all year round. And what they're doing is they're sawing away at the world tree, which is the tree that holds up the whole world and makes it live. They're trying to destroy the world. But December 25th until January 6th, they come up from the ground and they just ruin your Christmas spirit. They try to destroy Christmas. Almost like they're the anti-elves from the North Pole. They're only there to make you have a bad Christmas. The elves in Bulgaria. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, Bulgaria, dude. That's a place.
Yep, Serbia
And Bulgaria. Yeah, it's a crazy place for these type of folklore to come out of.
Former Soviet nations with a lot of elves.
Yes.
Krampus comes from that region too, so I think they really have
They really like their Christmas elf haunted shit going on, dude. Yeah.
You're gonna get presents on the tree. You're gonna get these little long name elves to come and give you a
covered in
Christmas
blood.
fright.
Yeah. As long as it's not the Earl King, I'm good. Yep.
Yeah, at least it won't kill you. On that fact. But that's really all I have as far as like elves and folklore. All the rest of the things I think of as all modern renditions. They're rather fiction instead of folklore. Do you have any more folklore ones?
Do I have any more folklore ones? Yeah, absolutely. I've got some.
Sure.
So you mentioned so there's a few that you didn't mention because it's hard to find these type of goblins, but and it may be because here's the thing is though, like all goblins share a lot of traits. You already mentioned these traits.
Yeah, they all have some things in common that make them goblins.
Yeah, they're small, they're shitty.
Yep, little bastards.
Little bastards, grotesque, monstrous little fucking things that can sometimes shapeshift, sometimes have magical abilities similar to a fairy. You mentioned that. Or really demon is really the best way to put it.
Sure,
but there is some of them such as the Pukwudgie.
What's this one?
And it is it's funny because it does share some things with a bunch of other stuff, but it's actually this is a
it almost sounds Native American.
It does, exactly, because it comes from the Wampanoag folklore found in you got it found in it. And I feel like I've heard this before because maybe it comes from something, but and it translates into little wild man of the woods that vanishes. And he's a human-like little shit that is found in Delaware in PEI.
Oh, shit.
And for those of you who are listening in Tehran, Iran right now, PEI, if you're not familiar with it, is a island, sort of, off the coast of Canada.
Is it more than one island? I always thought it was called Prince Edward Islands. It could kind of be like the Florida Keys, where there's like more than one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not one perfect circle, like place like Delaware is, you know?
It's like a little archipelago.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but sounds about right.
Island.
So, got it.
We learn
Perfect.
something new every day here.
You
folks.
do. We all learn in the DJBP.
We all know this podcast is listed under science and history.
Science and history. So puck wedgies can appear and disappear at will, shapeshift.
Cheating.
And
Cheating.
what?
That's not fair. It's cheating to disappear.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's kind of like that guy.
Playing fair.
It's kind of like that guy in the woods today that I saw fucking jerking it, dude. Second.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
I saw a goblin today. That's wild.
Yeah, he was wearing like gray track pants with like a white shirt and like a blue track coat. And I was
red cap. Was he
just
wearing a
going
red cap?
He kind of looked like I mean, I just want to say Jeffrey Dahmer.
Wow, very
just had a
timely.
really like you see
America's
someone
Dahmer
sometimes you
fever
see
right
people
now.
in the woods and you just go like that guy. Some people just shouldn't be in the woods. Like, why are you here? It's like flying down this hill and I come down it and like 25 yards up there I see a human not looking at me and I thought he was peeing and I was like I wanted to make I tried to make some noise so they can like hear me so I don't scare the shit out of fucking people, but he was off the path. And dude, he was just fucking standing with his hand like that down there for like way too long. And I was like, this dude's not fucking peeing. I was like, I'm get the fuck out of here.
One way or the other, he had his dig out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I'm not fucking dealing this. Like his clothes were like an indication of like, you're this isn't like
you're not hiking.
Yeah. You're not, this is not like this isn't a place like for those clothes, man. Like really odd. I was like, man, second fucking time. Cause last time.
Second time.
Yeah, well, like maybe a month ago, I was in Dover, New Hampshire, on the rail trail there, and I saw this fucking two crackheads having sex on a bench
that's just love. That's different.
On the river. And what I actually think about, because I was riding my bike and I saw a dude's naked butt like thrusting, and like it takes you a second to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's not a usual occurrence.
No, it's not. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I was like, holy shit, that dude's I couldn't tell where the lady was, but he might have been just banging her like in the face. Oh, no. Yeah, something was going on. And then I said
that makes it worse, but it just does.
I don't know. And then on the way back, I talked to them. So that was
no, you didn't.
Because they were leaving, like they were walking somewhere else. And I was like, he was like, dude, I love your shirt, man. I was like, thanks, man. Love your dick.
Yeah, and she was like, nice to meet you.
Yeah. No, they were done. No, but they were trying to talk to me about my shirt, and I was just tempted to say something funny, but just didn't have it in my brain. Yeah. But anyways,
that would have been great though. You'd be like, we're just gonna act like we weren't just having sex 1 minute ago when I saw you. Like,
yeah, exactly. I rode my bicycle by you guys. Like it was pretty obvious. Like I seen your ass, dude.
The balls, pun intended, to do that and then be like, I'm gonna have a chat with this guy.
Yeah, I'm
like,
gonna talk to
me
him.
In the woods. I would be like, I'm gonna avoid this person at all costs. They saw us doing the deed, and I don't even want to bring it up. But instead, they're like, I guess if you're the kind of person that would do that, you really don't care about like.
Definitely doesn't give. I mean, I don't know about you, but we've all had our fun times in the woods.
Sure, we have
with our lady friends. But it's like very, very like you're gonna need a fucking map and a GPS ping and a helicopter to find me.
You're bringing a blanket, you're not just doing it
on the trail. No, you're like way gone.
Yeah, if I'm even gonna take a leak in the woods, I'm going like at least 50 paces off of the beaten path, behind a tree.
Yeah. Or if you're gonna fucking jerk it in the woods like this guy, you should do that. Like, what's he doing on the fucking path, man? Yeah. No, it's fucking 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, but
catch me, and then that'll be like part of the fun or whatever.
Oh, it's like the Louis C.K. thing. Like that's what it takes for him to fucking get off.
I tend to think that it's like if you really are trying to do this thing and not be seen, there's better ways to do it than like wearing a blue tracksuit and like in the middle of the woods and on the path. Like there's other ways to get around this. I don't think he was so concerned about being discreet, I guess I should say.
No, at all. If I went, hey, what are you doing over there? He goes, and just fucking starts exploding.
Yeah, he was like,
shaking,
I was waiting for someone to say that.
Fucking falls over. Like that's exactly what he's doing. And I wanted
why you should wear glasses when you're biking in the woods. It's not because of debris or bugs. It's because it could be that like rogue jizz.
Yeah. Did you say road jizz?
ROUGE.
Oh, like Rogue One.
Yeah, rogue jizz. Like it's gone rogue. It's kind of off the beaten path.
Yeah,
On
he
the
was
beaten path. Dude.
definitely
On the beating path.
road jizz off the beaten path.
That's our new movie.
Yeah, maybe I should have
Adult.
called our boys get together in December that instead of a gathering of eagles.
No, Gathering of Eagles is the greatest name ever. Do not change it.
No one would have come if we called it Rogue Jizz off the beaten path. Yeah, maybe they would have got other ideas for what's going on
we're
there.
still gonna do that, but that shouldn't be the name of it.
Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah, Gathering of Eagles or Gathering of Beagles. I would go there for that too.
Yeah, definitely. But that's more.
We all just howl at the moon together.
Yeah, exactly. Then run when there's danger.
I can smell you, Billy. I mean, Billy Bones.
Billy Bones, I smell you, Billy.
Yep.
Pretty little girl. That's your thing, but I had to do it. Sorry.
You gotta do it every time.
Sorry,
You have
it's
to.
funny.
No, I'm glad you did. I'll bring it up every podcast if I have the chance to do it. But yeah, you know what else has a good sense of smell is goblins. Which can smell blood and gold like a shark.
Well, they do, and that's what, they're so fucked up. It made me think of the guy jerking it in the woods because of the pugwudgies.
Yeah, so they disappear. And what do they do?
Yeah, they disappear and shapeshift, and they could have maybe shapeshifted it into this dude jerking in the woods today. That could have been a pugwudgie.
That would be so funny. A little
pugwudgie.
goblin shapeshifts into a middle-aged man in a tracksuit. He's like, now I really got you.
Yeah, really got you big time, buddy. And however, not the same thing as this tracksuit jerking it dude in the woods, but the pugwudgies typically shapeshift into a creature that looks like a porcupine from the back and a half troll, half human, half pig. Just kidding. Half troll.
The man bear pig.
Yeah. Half man, half bear, half pig. Half porcupine from the back, half troll. No, it fucking says this, dude. It says
it is. It
says half porcupine, half troll, half human. From the front.
It's a man porca troll.
Man porca troll, and walks upright. And another fucking one, dude. This thing lures people to their deaths, uses magic, launches poison arrows, and create fires.
Ooh, poison arrows.
And they used to be friends.
Fire involved with goblins, but not the poison arrows. But
yeah, I feel like they don't need that, but it's all good. Whatever. I'm not fucking with this thing. Though.
Definitely poison and fire are like a big part of goblins and like video games and movies and stuff like that. Like it's trickery rather than blunt force. So it's like, if they're going to stab you, they would use poison rather than using like a big hammer.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this is true.
Like a little tricky little, hey, guess what? You have 10 minutes to breathe until you fall down. Because I poison you. And I will poison. All gross and shit.
Yeah. Like it's something you wouldn't even feel. And all of a sudden you're just convulsing on the fucking sidewalk.
Yeah.
But
like on the best poisons, the little polonium round, just pop you like the umbrella and just poison you. Once you get stabbed up, it's too late. Goblin stab. Yep.
Dude, we nailed it though. Like, so according to the lore, a person who annoyed a pugwudgie would be subject to nasty tricks by it or being followed, which would cause trouble for them. They are known to kidnap people, push them off cliffs, attack their victims with short knives and spears, and to use their sand to blind their victims. So they just basically throw sand in your eyes. Yeah. Throw
like
sand
Dale
in your
from
eyes.
King of the Hill. Pocket sand.
Dude, pocket
Tricky
sand
little
fucked.
bastards.
That's a great way to fuck someone up. Then they stab you with, it says literally short knives.
Wow. Just cover that in a little bit of hemlock and off you go.
Yep. And they don't like humans anymore. So we respect you guys. We hope you guys stay happy and out there. So
hey, man, I don't want a goblin to live with me, but much like all the things you talk about in this podcast, the more I learn about them, the more I grow an appreciation of them. Like clowns, I'm afraid of them, but I respect them and I appreciate them now.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I honestly haven't even seen a clown since our episode. I'm looking forward to it because I will talk to them. I mean, I spent my last weekend talking to mystical fucking things in the woods at a haunted fair. So I would appreciate be like, hey, what's up, bud? Like, I'm one of you. I put some positive out there.
Yeah,
but
I wish I could say the same about goblins. I've seen a ton of them since we talked about clowns. They're everywhere.
So before we get into more shit. Two more quick ones. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I think this is fun because it's the first time, like we said, most things on this podcast are universal.
Yeah,
like
we already brought up the fact.
Pyramids, UFO sightings.
England, and now we're talking about America. So this is ideas that couldn't have been passed along to each other. These arose at the same time.
Yeah, so I got one, the last of the ones for you. I mean,
Last of the Mohicans.
Last of the Mohicans pretty much is a Korean one called the Dokubi. And they have like they date back to the Bajik period, which is 18 BC to 660 AD.
Okay, that's a while ago.
Before Korean Jesus Christ.
Yeah, before Korean. That's like even before goblins started popping up in mythology in Europe. So they might have had the first goblin.
Exactly. So that's the same fucking story, dude. Like they're
stab you in the woods, the little tricksters.
Pretty much. Yeah. The one word that keeps coming up is mischievous, playing pranks on people, fucking doing shit. Like they're very skilled at wrestling. That is the one thing I haven't seen.
That's interesting.
And they cannot be beaten unless their right side is exploited. Not sure what that means, but
they're left-handed. That's what that means.
Oh,
okay.
You gotta
drive them to the left, like we used to do in basketball. If you see someone's right hand dominant, you make them go to the left because they're weaker that way. These goblins of Korea are clearly left-handed, so you got to drive them to the right. Fuck them up.
Well, I got a surprise for you. They only have one leg.
Is it their left leg?
Sounds like it might be, yeah.
It seems like that. That would might be.
So just if you're out there, guys, and you see a Dokubi in Korea, South Korea or North Korea, for our friend fucking Kimmy up top.
Hey, Kim, shout out.
Yeah, shout out. He'll get this.
Hope he dies today.
Yep. We all do.
I can't believe that the 94-year-old dirty guy died before Kim Jong-un.
Dirty Dave died before Kim Jong-un.
Another great one hits the dust before Kim Jong-un, which I probably spoke out of turn there because that guy sounds like he was hitting the dust on the regular.
Yeah, he was hitting the dust, dude. I don't know what type of animal feces he's smoking, but I fucking need some of it, dude. I gotta add some years.
Well, you can always do the light version, which is smoke 5 cigarettes at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both are good. I mean,
I can see a goblin doing that. Little dirty guy in a cave just ripping butts like way too many.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! They're definitely smoking.
Goblins definitely do not take baths, and much like another goblin we'll talk about later, don't get them wet.
Yeah, don't get them wet.
For you.
But just a little piece of advice from us is that if you guys see a Dokubi in, again, South Korea, North Korea, and use their one leg to their advantage. To your advantage.
Yeah, to your advantage. Yeah.
Yep. It tells us to make sure you do that. Like,
shuffle it up. Don't
forget that they have one leg, and that's a disadvantage for them. In case it's not obvious.
They must be hopping mad most of the time. You just kind of outrun them. We'll juke them off. On Madden, use the spin move.
Yeah. So that's the old our Korean friend there, and the last one is the Ifrit. And because we are from. You want to guess?
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Greece.
No, but close enough.
There you go.
I mean, Mediterranean area.
Okay.
So
all right, I'm in the general area.
We're rocking Egypt, Morocco.
Okay, yeah. I almost said the Middle East, but I was like, that might be too close to it.
Yeah, we want to cover all of it. It's just because again, everyone's saying the same shit all at the same times. Basically. And they're just shitty assholes who are in the Quran. They're mentioned in there.
They're in the Quran?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're always
goblins in the Bible? I don't think there are. That might be a unique thing.
Good question.
I don't think there's any goblins. I never learned about them when I was in school.
What? You didn't learn about the goblins in the story of Moses?
No, there was no goblins in that story.
The burning bush was there's a goblin up there too, like the whole thing.
Yeah. The goblin lit a bush on fire, just whispering in his ear, being like, "Yeah, you should leave. You should leave. Get everyone out of here and get out."
in what
They're very
is it called?
Beavis-like in that way.
Oh yeah.
Get out of here. Keep it for my bunghole.
Dude, I think you're nailing it.
He's definitely a
What they
goblin
sound
type
like.
character, Beavis.
He is. No, absolutely. In not Revelation, but the opposite. What book was that?
Genesis.
Genesis. Is that where the flood is?
I don't know if it's in that one, but that's the starting block, the Noah section.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like
Noah
that's-
was like the leader, but the goblin said, "I want 2 of every animal on this ship." And he went up there and did his thing while Noah said, "Good job, my associate goblin."
The goblin's
said-
just rubbing his hands together, watching 2 giraffes go on, like,
Yes, it's all coming together.
All coming together now. Yes, I said 2 of every animal, not 2 of every tuna fish.
Yeah.
Save those for the food for us. We're not gonna eat the animals, but we'll eat the fish.
I feel like they definitely eat fish.
And
Raw
him and
fish.
Noah high-fived and
I
shut
feel
the
like they would
truck,
have
shut the
stole the
door.
boat. If the goblins told them, they'd be like, build the whole boat. And
It's
then
so
as soon
funny.
as it was done, they just took off without him. They're like,
Thanks a lot, sucker.
and the flood comes and then Noah died.
That everyone's dead now. The
And now the goblins have
intelligent
2 of every
civilization of
animal.
the earth is just a bunch of fucking
Just
goblins who are
goblins,
just fucking around with each other the whole time.
Yeah, they're still in the Iron Age in the year 2000 because they're all goblins and they have no
Oh yeah, yeah. They're not
compelled to-
interested.
the
no
goblins
interest in-
aren't big on technology really. They work with whatever they got.
Yeah, no interested in advancing anything. They're just
No.
interested in smoking feces out of a PVC pipe and smoking 5 cigarettes at a time.
Yeah, that's more their speed.
It's
No,
way
it's
more their
weird.
speed, and just let it just like if today everybody just stopped making shit. Stop making shit. Stop making shit better. Stop making new shit.
Mhm.
all that
Just
stuff.
Take stuff from other people and just live like that.
Well, just like whatever you have, you live with, and whatever breaks, you either fix or it's fucking whatever. Goblins would just inherit this earth exactly as it is, and no electricity, no gas, no fucking
Yep.
anything, no new things, no farming, no whatever. Just they're just fucking just tear it up. It's like when you go to like you're a kid and like you babysit like your aunt's
Plague of
house who's rich,
Yeah.
and you get to like eat all their food. You just
Yeah.
go there and just take everything.
Kids are a lot like goblins in that way. Little
They are.
devious little.
They do
things.
not provide anything. They just go take a
just
place
take.
that is like 30 years of meticulously maintenance and thought out and design and new paint and clean floors and clean bathrooms and just shit, piss, eat all the food,
Yep.
possibly
They tear
drink all
down
the
in a matter of
alcohol,
hours. They
just
tear the
fucking
whole thing.
like just sleep naked and jerk off in the bed and like just all these things and just then just thank you, leave,
Yeah, and then they leave.
that's a goblin.
That's goblins.
Yeah.
Goblins. Yeah.
Yeah. Going into your rich aunt's house and just fucking eating all the food.
That's what it means to be a goblin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
You want to take our first break before we move from?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it sounds great.
When I say blue, you say chew. Blue,
Chew.
blue.
Chew. What's Blue Chew? Made in the USA, Blue Chew's chewable tablets are designed to help men achieve peak performance in the bedroom. Made for the active male, any age, 18 or older. Blue Chew's chewable tablets are convenient and discreet, with the key ingredients being sildenafil and tadalafil. Blue Chew is specifically formulated to help men achieve harder and stronger erections without the need to subscribe to extended pills and the stigma that comes along with taking them. Dom?
Blue!
Chew. Blue.
Chew.
This is brought to you by the Joe.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Oh, now we got you guys back after a commercial break.
Now
we're-
reintroduce it though.
Welcome to Dylan Joe Bateson podcast. I'm Dylan, one of your hosts, and we are coming back at Goblins for you. Back to Goblins. Joe is an expert. Spent most of his life learning how to do a goblin sound. Joe, you want to do that again for everyone?
I actually am kind of a goblin. I'm like a little tiny, like creepy guy who like fucks with people and I live in a cave.
Yeah, that's Joe. He's 1 inch shorter than me. That's where those.
I'm a goblin.
That's where the goblin line is. Thank God I made it right past that bar because, half an inch would have been the same thing for me.
Give me all your gold.
I've been putting on a voice for the podcast this whole time. This nice deep timbre that I have during my speaking voice when I'm trying to act like I'm a professional. It's all a put on. That's my actual voice, yeah. But I'm trying to keep all you listeners from hearing that because it's not pleasant. I know that.
Joe's fake voice is the voice he's using. If in other words,
Yeah,
if you don't understand
my
it.
put on voice. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
ever hung out with me outside the podcast, you would know that. But all of you people obviously have never met me outside the podcast because you're just fans from the internet, so you don't know that.
It's like when you answer the phone and it's like someone important. You're like,
Yeah, your phone.
"Hello,
voice.
yes, this is Dylan." How are you? Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
This is my podcast voice. My regular voice is a goblin voice.
Yeah.
And that's why I made it so far
So
in life.
I just wanted to wrap up. So the last one I said was the Ifrit, and it's the same story. You just got some shit in the Quran that's about a
Or
powerful demon or spear of the dead who's small and a little asshole, and
Little
usually inhabit desolate places such as ruins and temples.
Mhm.
And that's it. So as we wrap up, our friends in the folklore world, I just want to point out, I already did, but I just want to point out again that, this shit, not everyone was communicating.
It's another universal idea that sprung up on multiple parts of the world around the same time without
Around the
communication.
same time. Yeah. Without, I know, but this was showing up.
Yeah.
People were
It
talking
sounds-
about this
Sounds
everywhere.
a lot like other spirits or vampires or other things we talked about, where it's like there's something about being a human on the planet Earth that just makes you know about goblins.
Yeah.
Universal human thing.
Yeah. No, definitely. So Joe, you want to start us off in fiction?
Yeah, I thought I would hit it in video games because that's the most goblins I've ever seen.
The
I mean,
hottest topic too.
every video game where you use a sword should have goblins. If it doesn't, it's fucked up. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a shit game.
usually they are like the lower ranked enemies, like in Oblivion, for example, behind me. These are some of the first guys you fight. Not that tough, but like Dylan said, they're sneaky and they could get you more than the giant monsters could. They could sneak up on you and stab you right in the back, and they're all over. In Oblivion, in Skyrim, also they don't call them goblins in this; they call them snow elves because they live under the ground. But they have a very similar thing where they have the pointy ears. They're blind. They live in caves, and they're feral, but they're tribal. They never really get past the stage of humanity of like tribalism and living in tents and having fires and working with tools and stuff like that. But they like it there. They don't really much care to learn. They're good where they are.
This is true. So my favorite of the realm. So again, we're on the hot topic of video games.
Yeah,
Joe went over two of the fucking hottest games of all time. Well, basically one series. The Elder Scrolls, which leads to Skyrim and Oblivion. And there are definitely goblins in some of the games that I didn't play a whole lot, like World of Warcraft and that type of thing, because there's a fine line for me when it comes to that stuff. Diablo.
I'm sure they're in Diablo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Diablo, World of Warcraft, and then what's fucking RuneScape.
RuneScape definitely has goblins.
Definitely has goblins in RuneScape. So my favorite is the
Final Fantasy.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy for sure.
Goblins.
And my favorite though is the Bokoblin. Take a wild guess, Joe, where the Bokoblin is from. They are from the Moblin counterpart. They're more intelligent versions.
Oh, they're from Zelda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They sure fucking are. They're my favorite ones, dude.
Yeah, it's funny because those creatures, those goblins, they didn't show up in a lot of Zelda games in a row. They kind of like left them by the wayside. They used to be in the old games all the time. And then when Breath of the Wild came out, they're like, we're bringing them back in a big way. Goblins everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And don't forget, when the new moon rises, the blood moon, they all come back to life again. So they never truly die in that game. The goblins.
This is true.
They don't really, again, they're around campfires. They're causing mischief. They're stealing stuff. They're not really you know, forging a war against you, but they're you know, they're unstoppable. They always come back.
Dude, this is
They're
true.
a
So
menace. I think menace is a good word to bring up for goblins too.
they're a menace, and but they typically they do their damage in packs. So
Yeah,
specifically in Zelda,
one-on-one, they're not very tough. Not like the Native American goblin. They're more like you know, it's like a bunch of pickpocket kids in like in England back in the day, like Oliver Twist and his buddies coming up to you and shanking you. A one-on-one, you can take them, but as a pack, you don't stand a chance.
yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is they're the most common monster found in Hyrule, and no matter where you are, they are found there. So it's specifically in Breath of the Wild, as you know, they live in loosely organized groups and build forts to ward off the enemies. So every time you come across a fort, there's usually something there, including the flying monsters and sometimes like lava you have to get around, that type of stuff.
Sure,
These little fucking assholes are up high, and they've got their division of like archers.
Yeah, they know how to use, you know, medieval weaponry kind of.
They're definitely the infantry of the antagonists.
Ganon.
Such as Ganon. Yeah, exactly. So those are my G's, and they're like, as you mentioned.
G's, yeah, the goblins.
The fucking G's, dude. They're mainly in.
Goblin.
You said this already, but I didn't even know about half the shit. But they're in Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. What is that?
That's the new one. It's
oh shit! I didn't know that name yet. Oh yeah, baby.
And you know how usually they'll every time they'll make a whole new Zelda game, but every once in a while, like Majora's Mask, they'll just make a direct sequel. It's like almost the same game, but it's so good they can't not do it. And that's what they're gonna do for this one. And no one wants. Everyone wants a new Zelda game, but no one wants a game that's nothing like Breath of the Wild. They just want another one of those. Kind of like when Ocarina of Time came out, people were like, let's do that again. They're like, we'll usually do it different every time, but we'll just do Majora's Mask because I know you guys love it. I think it's going to be that, where it's going to be like almost the same game, but just pumped up, like Grand Theft Auto 4 to 5, where you're like, let's just do it better.
Dude, and it's going to be so emotional. If it's even just straight up called Tears of the Kingdom, it's going to be dark,
people
dude.
Are going to die. I
it's
mean, there's going to be goblins.
Dark.
I know that. There's going to be plenty of goblins.
You mean bokoblins?
I mean bokoblins, yeah.
Bokoblins.
Yeah.
Who are, yep. Oh, wow, this is good. So those are my boys. So I got another one too, just to chime in real quick.
Go for it, man.
Is that the Pukwudgie? There's a reason why it sounds so familiar. Do you have any idea? Because I do.
Because I had a nightmare about it tonight.
Yeah, it does sound like that. And no, it's not. It's not the fish from Lilo and Stitch. That's called named Pudge.
Oh, I didn't remember that. They
have a pet fish named Pudge, not Pukwudgie. I know you're thinking that.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yes.
Well,
I have seen it recently.
Stitch is definitely very goblin-like himself. Like,
holy shit, dude! I didn't even think about him. That is a goblin. I mean, they're going for alien, but goblin. Yeah. That's a goblin, dude. Except he's chill.
No, he's not very chill, but he's a friend. But he's not chill. I don't think he's really.
Well, he's devious. Yeah.
He's a goblin. He's a blue goblin.
It's fucking a good point. No, by chill, I mean he's got good intentions, man. Like I like people who have
he's not
short
evil.
Temper. No,
he's not chill.
No,
he's not evil though. No, I can see that.
No, but when he's cool, you can hang with him easily.
Well, I mean, cool. Like a lot of
before he fucks up that wedding,
adorable dogs. You know, they're not evil, but they're not chill. They're like really rambunctious, and they're in goblin mode. They're full goblin mode.
This is true. This is very true
about them.
Yep. So back to Pukwudgie. J.R. Tolkien used Pukwudgie down to the spelling as
no way.
Some of her fucking goblins, dude. That's why it sounds familiar.
Thing I was going to bring up next, so you led into that perfectly.
Yeah, but we were trying to figure out like this sounds familiar, but yeah, she straight up fucking took that.
Well, you're talking about J.K. Rowling or J.R. Tolkien? Because one of them wrote
J.K. Rowling
and is an old man.
Sorry, I'm going off of memory at the moment. It's and
Okay.
you've got two.
Because I was going to bring
letters and then
her up
a
too.
name.
I was going to bring up both Lord of the
I
Rings
meant
and Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Okay.
Yes, Puckwudgie. That definitely sounds a lot more Harry Potter than Lord of the Rings.
It. I was going to say, you're like, you know how we know this, and I was like, I've never heard that.
J.R. Tolkien, the creator of Harry Potter. No.
We might get our most engagement in any of our videos because people are going to be so mad we messed that up. And we're like, how dare you?
Jesus Christ, where the fuck was Dylan born? I was born in 1991, and the first book came out in what, like 97 or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorcerer's
My brother
Stone.
got it, and I didn't get it because it was too old for me. But yeah, I was around for probably most people who are yelling at us right now.
Well, that's an interesting take too, because the goblins in Harry Potter, let's move on to that one. They are not, they're similar in like appearance and their kind of wants as goblins in most other fiction, but they're not like the goblins we're talking about. They actually have jobs and they work in the world of Harry Potter, and a lot of them work at Gringotts Bank. So they still love gold and they're still mischievous, but they aren't like stabbing people and robbing them. They're a part of society. They wear suits, they have job, and they're part of the economy in Harry Potter. I think they were probably discriminated against initially, but then they slowly were accepted into wizarding society, if not held at arm's length. But yeah, the goblins in Harry Potter, they're intelligent.
That's weird. So they clearly separate. She clearly separated the Puckwudgies from what you just said.
Yeah. So maybe that's why she used that word to be like, these are like the
real goblins, the
and
fucking
not the people goblins who have
yeah.
jobs.
That's good to know, because she said, "What's Pottermore?"
I don't know. I mean, I'm a
she
nerd
said
about
in
a lot
a
of stuff,
script,
but Harry Potter's not really one of them.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Anyway, so she said, described the Puckwudgie as follows. The Puckwudgie is also a native to America, a short, gray-faced, large.
Did she actually say a native to America? That's so weird.
Oh, sorry. Nope. I just can't fucking read.
Native to America.
Yeah. Is also native to America, a short, gray-faced, large-eared creature distantly related to the European goblin.
Yeah, but
fiercely independent, tricky, and not over fond of humankind. Where the map, blah blah blah. Fucking hunt
so
with.
It's kind of
the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
American version of the European banker goblin, which they have here. This is the American version. They live in the woods. They store a lot of cans of food, and they don't like neighbors. They just kind of do their own thing.
Yeah, and
Puckwudgie.
And probably where we heard it more in that is that Puckwudgie is a symbol and a name of one of the houses in the Livermore School of Witchcraft and Wizardry that is said to represent the heart of a wizard and favor the healer. So it's kind of like Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Yeah.
What is Harry Potter's clan? What's his fucking thing? I'm
Gryffindor. Yeah, it's confusing because Dumbledore is the name of the dean of the whole school, you know.
Yeah, R.I.P. Oh no, I meant the big giant guy that died.
Yeah, but the original Dumbledore did die too.
Oh, thank God! All right, I didn't want to mix that up.
Two big guys with beards are now passed on.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, R.I.P. Hagrid though. That guy was great.
Yeah, he was cool. He was a cool guy. Everyone liked him. So
you ever seen the movies where he has no beard? It's kind of shocking because he literally just has a pudgy face.
Yes, I have, dude.
He's still a big man.
He plays Valentino in the movie you might have heard of called GoldenEye.
Oh, he does.
Where Pierce Brosnan.
Before, you know, when you see movies when you're a kid and you don't know, and then you revisit it as an adult, you're like, oh yeah, I know all these people. As a kid, I didn't know who they were at all. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
There's a quote from it that's really funny because he says so. Pierce Brosnan walks into like a brothel, like where there's like girls singing and it's really annoying. Yeah. And there's this girl up there. Then he's sitting there in his like very, very Russian mobster situation, and James Bond puts a gun to his head and he goes, "Walther PPK. Only three people I have ever known who have ever used one."
He knows the gun by it being pressed to his head.
That's fantastic. I've killed 2 of them. Hello, James. And then this is sorry, not Dumbledore. Hagrid. Then he sits down and his like girl is singing and he goes, "Hey, Tarina, take a hike." He says it just like that. She's up on the stage. Take a hike. and then she gets pissed off, and then James Bond shoots him 3 times in around the groin. Oh no, vice versa. Sorry, but anyways, it's this fucking scene. But that's the guy from Harry Potter, in case you're wondering. He was ever going, "Hey Katrina, take a hike."
Take a hike, girly.
So funny. So he has been in other movies before, is the whole point.
And his name is Robbie Coltrane. I had to look it up. We can't say Hagrid every time.
The old Coltrane.
Old Bobby Coltrane there. Like
Bobby Coltrane.
He will be missed.
I
saw a cool quote from him where people were interviewing him about Harry Potter when one of the movies came out. He said, "It's nice to be." They asked him like, "What's it like to be part of this whole thing?" And he said, "It's really cool to be a part of something that people can enjoy now, and then hopefully they'll enjoy 50 years from now. I'll be long gone then, but hopefully they'll still remember me that way." And a lot of people were posting that this week, being like, "Oh yeah, he was right."
He's fucking right, man. Yeah, it's like planting a tree that's when you're 80.
Yep. It's for the next generation, and it's not for you.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, not very goblin-like at all. Very
No. He fucking hated goblins, dude.
No, he's not a goblin.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a
definitely.
goblin right now.
Yeah. Oh, you heard the goblin. Yeah,
I
definitely a little goblin.
Once again, goblins are haunting the podcast. That's for sure.
You sure? You keep hearing him, little tiny little thing barking.
Well,
so
that brought me into the next big franchise I want to talk about, which is Goblins in the Lord of the Rings. I don't know if you remember watching these movies, but it has one of the coolest goblin scenes or things I've seen in everything, which is in Lord of the Rings, I guess that goblins aren't really well defined. Like in Tolkien's world, it's not like goblins are one thing and orcs are the other thing. Orcs are like all the bad guys, which are very goblin-like. They have pointy ears, they're tiny, they hate people, they want to hurt people, and they're mischievous. But I always took it as the goblins, the ones who like live in the caves, like goblin style. They don't have like societies and they don't work for people. But it's an awesome scene when they go through the mines of Moria, where they enter there thinking it's a big city of dwarves. And when they arrive, they realize everyone's been dead for a long time. It's all skeletons and spider webs. And then, the dwarf character is like, "Oh, my cousin's dead." And they're like, "We got to get out of here. I don't know why people are dead, but it's not good." And they find out that's because the entire place has been infested with goblins, but they can't see them until they make a big loud noise. And one of the characters, Pippin rather, he bumps a helmet and it goes down a well and it hits every branch on the way down, as they say. And then it makes such a loud noise, they go, "We got to get out of here." And all the goblins come out from all over the caves. And there's a scene of them running through this awesome, they had to CG it because it's insane. It's a giant cave where there's like 100-foot tall pillars of rock, like a big giant hallway. And as they're running down, you just see all these goblins crawling down like spiders from the ceiling to descend upon them. Thousands of them all coming down. And then they get to the end of the hallway and they're like, "We're going to be overrun by the goblins." There's just 1,000 goblins with the little daggers and their creepy pointy teeth in the ear. They're going to get you. Like, you can't avoid them. You're going to overrun by goblins. You're in a cave. This is their domain, the goblin domain. Like, look at them like behind me here. And just as that happens, they all scatter because the Balrog is coming. And there's always a bigger fish. But I just love that scene so much with all the goblins. It's the terrifying. It also reminds me of The Descent when they're just stuck in there with the little blind creatures with the teeth and the pointy. I mean, those are very, very goblin-like in The Descent. It's just like you're in the caves, you're in their territory, man.
I hate them. Yeah.
They're out to get you, the goblins. La, la, la.
Wow.
So in Lord of the Rings, they're not really explicitly pointed out more than that. In the books, actually, the goblins come and they burn the Shire to the ground so that when Sam and Frodo come home, it's destroyed. But in the movies, they decide not to do that. It's like, we can't get into all that. We just wanted to be over. It's already 3.5 hours long. But yeah, in the books, the goblins actually they burn the Shire down. Little mischievous bastards.
Damn. That is something. I've got a famous movie that's got goblins in it.
Let's hear it.
It is specifically called something you might have heard of. Labyrinth from 1986 with David Bowie.
Labyrinth, yes. What's the name of the goblin who's their friend? Like Puggle or Boggle or something like that.
It's very close to that. I can't. If I could spell
Hobble.
No.
I'll look it up if you want to keep talking. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. Look it up because I forget their name. That would be great. But yeah, that's just a
Yeah, the
crazy.
goblins are the bad guys, and then the Goblin King, of course, David
Mhm.
Bowie himself.
Yeah, Labyrinth is a really otherworldly movie where David Bowie goes and decides to be the leader and break into this maze situation. It's been a couple of years since I've seen it, but there's for a movie that has singing and dancing, I usually just right out of the gate have no interest. But it's David Bowie. It's good. It's
Dude,
real good.
Labyrinth rocks, and also it's a
It's
Jim Henson
fucking
company, so it's a Muppet movie. But the
yeah.
Muppets are all goblins.
Right.
All the
Right.
goblins in the movie are all puppets, as well as Hoggle, who is the name of their friend, who's actually a nice goblin.
Yeah, and they're kind of bad, and it's good, dude. Like it's
I love how the Goblin King too is like a slender, androgynous, sexy rock star, and
Wearing
then all the goblins
spandex.
are like little, yeah, all the goblins are like little creepy, and he's like David Bowie doing like the tricks with the that magical ball magicians use and make it look like they're using powers. It's just the best. Yeah, I can't even think of that. The Goblin King and the Goblin Horde from Labyrinth, definitely
Yeah,
big time
yeah.
goblin.
Yeah, I mean, it really goes. So I don't know how this list got.
Well, he tries to kidnap Jennifer Connelly to marry her. That's the conceit, is why he's there.
Gotcha. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I just have fond memories because it is very fun, fucking uplifting movie. Honestly, based off of just the sights and the sounds, not necessarily the evil. There's evil. There's this. It's fun, but it's
got everything, and it's got
it's
one
good
of the
shit.
best riddles in. It's like an ancient.
I
riddle.
know what it
The
is.
riddle
Yeah.
of the two doors, and one of them always lies, one of them always tells the truth, and you have to pick the right door. It's a great riddle.
Yeah, it's good. So other movies that have goblins, do you got any? Because I've got a few too.
Yeah, well, I didn't want you to jump the gun too much on this, but this is a definite goblin movie. They don't use the word goblin, but it's basically a synonym for them, and that's the movie Gremlins. The
yeah.
I mean, basically, the guy, his father buys this little furry creature called the Mogwai, which kind of looks like a hamster with little goblin features to it, which is Gizmo. They say, don't let it get wet, and don't feed it after midnight. And when it gets wet, makes a bunch of copies of himself, and if they feed after midnight, turns into goblins. That's when the gremlins come. And again, they're totally goblin-like. They have the pointy ears, the green skin, the teeth, and they're not inherently evil, but they are mischievous and bad. I mean, they try to kill people, but it's not because they want to rule the world. It's just because they want to make everyone else have a bad time. And they're laughing. They're getting up to all kinds of mischief. In the second one, they go in the mall and they're like doing the classic things that kids would do, like put the ice cream in your mouth and just fucking throw shit everywhere, piss all over the floor. It's like they're goblins. Gremlins is goblins. They just didn't call it that, Definitely love. Big fan of Gremlins.
Big fan. Always fun, cute. So on my list, I've got. Yes, did you see Hellboy 2, The Golden Army from 2008?
I have not seen it. I mean, I should say this. I've probably seen half of the movie in 2-minute segments at my parents' house watching Stars and Cinemax, but I've never seen it from soup to nuts, as they say.
Yeah, no even soup to me.
Is there goblins in it?
Apparently, I mean, he's in the underworld a lot. I saw the first one in
I saw the first one.
05, and he's under in hell. I mean, it's Hellboy.
Yeah, so goblins live in hell in that one.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen, there's a common theme of being under. They like to they're underworld warrior little assholes, So I've never seen Hellboy 2. I mean, if anyone out there has actually seen this movie, definitely please fucking god damn it, just write yes.
It's supposed to be really good. I think it has like the highest rating of any Hellboy thing, and also it has like higher rating like most other. It has like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Hellboy 2, which is
shit me.
This doesn't make any sense to me. It'd be like, I don't know, because the newest one, which is a remake, has like a 20 on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's the one with David Harbour, who's from Stranger Things.
Dude, holy shit! Take a wild fucking guess of who directed Hellboy 2. Don't fucking cheat.
Joe Dante, the guy who did Gremlins.
Nope. And it's not Joe DiMaggio either.
I hope it's Joe Dante. I'm not wrong.
It's Guillermo del Toro. That's why it's good.
Oh, didn't he do the first one too? I think he did both of them.
I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Well, I mean, talk about a guy who I would trust to make a Goblin movie. It's Guillermo.
Yeah, it's fucking him, dude. Like,
no wonder it's so highly rated.
Yeah, and Ron Perlman's Hellboy still.
Yeah, I mean, he is Hellboy. They're like, we need to get a guy. Obviously, we're going to use a bunch of makeup, But let's get a guy who we have to use like the least make him possible. And Ron Perlman just has like he looks like the old man in the mountain. Like he's just this like stone face, just like he is.
I just can't get over him being in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I mean that's everything. Yeah, obviously he's that and everything. But also he's the voice of Slade from Teen Titans, which I always picture him as when I hear him talk.
Good to know.
He's
All
like,
right.
he's like, I'm gonna get you, Robin. I'll tell you one thing or another. He's just got that good like tough guy kind of voice to him. And his look matches it, but even just his voice alone, you're like, oh yeah, this is Ron Perlman.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, I mean those are the movies that I've got. Besides, the entire list is literally just either Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, well I have one more, which you wouldn't think just on the basis of all what we're saying about goblins, much like David Bowie being a goblin, you wouldn't picture it just out the top of your head. But here's a big time goblin that everyone knows about. And that's the Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, his number one arch nemesis. He's again mischievous, flying around his little bat wing thing, throwing bombs at you. Again, I mean he's a bad guy, and in Spider-Man, obviously he's much more like megalomaniacal, like he's planning things out, kind of like villain style. But he's still got that like laughing, mischievous kind of nature to him, where he's like kind of crazy, not like well planned out. It's being manic crazy. And he actually has one of the biggest character arcs in the comics where he kills Spider-Man's girlfriend. He just drops her off a fucking building and she dies. It's crazy. He's evil. Obviously well played by Willem Dafoe in the movies, who, I mean, if anyone's going to be a real life goblin, I mean, he's the guy. Like, he is a goblin in real life.
I'm gonna tell you what. And we're gonna take that Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
We're
like
gonna
just the
kill
way
him.
he talks. He just is a goblin.
We're gonna kill him. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You see the way his eyes are shifting around and like his facial structure, like he's a perfect goblin, the Green Goblin. Also, in Spider-Man, there's the Hobgoblin, but you know, these are the Diet Pepsi of the Green Goblin.
And if anybody's a Willem Dafoe fan, like that's your fucking guy. You like really just are trying to find more Willem Dafoe movies.
Yes.
Go watch Flight of the Intruder.
I thought you were going to say the Last Temptation of Christ, where he plays Jesus Christ in the movie.
He played. Whoa! Slow down. He played Jesus Christ.
He plays Christ in a movie. Willem Dafoe.
What movie?
The Last Temptation of Christ.
That's fucking funny. When did you see that?
I don't know when I saw it, but the movie was made. Like,
do you know why you saw it? That's might help you answer that question.
Willem Dafoe was playing Jesus. That's
all. Oh, this is just like Sunday night for you. You just throw on the fucking Passion of the Christ and have some beer.
Well, I was like, wait a minute.
Willem Dafoe, are you 8 or are you 30?
No, yeah, I'm like 30. No, it's in my 20s that I saw it, but except I already knew about him from like Boondock Saints and Spider-Man and stuff like that, and I was like, that's hilarious. He plays that. But yeah, it's before he got really big and famous. Like this is like I think it was made like in the early 80s, late 70s. Like he's a young man, but he's still Willem Dafoe's the hell out of it.
Love that. Yeah, Flight of the Intruder is like somewhere between 1985 and 1990. So he's not a young man. He's in his 30s or something.
Yeah,
he's just adding. It is the amount of quotableness, because again, it's not a mainstream movie where it's not like it's a post Top Gun fighter pilot movie. Fighter navigator movie. So like he's a navigator in the airplane, and it's just so goddamn funny. Every single thing out of this motherfucker's mouth is a quote. Like he can't even help himself. Like
no, he's the best actor at like just wanting to, like, whatever he says is quotable. Like just
quotable, everything.
It's like Christopher Walken, where you're like, just the way you say stuff, the way you do it, it just makes me want to say.
He's exactly great example of trying to identify what I'm trying to mean is that Christopher Walken, same thing.
The X Factor.
Anything he says can be done. Same with Willem Dafoe. This movie, Flight of the Intruder, fucking watch it. It's just so funny, and he dies at the end. It's so funny. It's so funny how he dies. I can't even begin to explain. So anyway, so moving on to Gremlins. Goblins, because he is the Green Goblin.
He's the Gremlins.
That's all I've got for references in pop culture. But I do have some real life examples of goblins.
Yeah, let's do some real life examples of goblins, because I want to move on to Goblin Mode. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah. So this came up because I typed goblins in the search bar,
That's usually how we
And-
start our research on all the podcasts. A little peek into, little inside baseball for the fans out there. We almost always start our research that way.
Well, the library's closed, so I can't go there, Joe.
I'm not even being facetious. That I literally typed in goblin to find the definition to get started on goblins.
Yeah,
I was like,
exactly.
I want to know what the basis of this. Saying with anything, ghost. Type in ghost. See what comes up, and then you work
Yeah.
from there.
Yes, and you'd also be surprised what comes up there too. You can type in goblin in the search bar, then it pulls down the top 5 searches, and it's like goblin dildo. You know, like why is it the third one?
Yeah,
yeah.
People love goblins.
They
They
sure
get
do.
gobbled up. Goblin that
Goblin that dick.
which will come up.
Oh, I'm excited to see that. So
Please go ahead.
so just real quick, there's been some sites of the duende. Does anyone know what that means? Duende?
No. Oh, so these are real life examples of goblins. We've moved
Yeah,
past folklore, past fiction into real life goblins.
Yeah, real life goblins. So
Yeah.
so it says real goblin / duende in Mexico. And duende in Spanish means in a phrase is dueño de casa or dueño de casa, effectively master
So
of the
goblin
house.
Oh,
Yeah.
master of the house. Yeah.
Master of the house.
That goes back to that
and-
European thing where like the hobgoblin lives with you and it does chores and it fucks up your house and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So there's a couple of videos of this fucking goblin in Mexico, and it comes from because in Mexico they have the goblin colony hike, and you come out to this like crazy like essentially
The
Mount
goblin
Rushmore.
colony?
Yeah. Well, you come out to like Mount Rushmore size thing, and it's just full of all these holes.
Ooh, so like all the goblins.
So like they can live in the holes basically. But yeah, he's definitely called the duende.
I think this is on a quick aside, the most believable of all like the kind of supernatural things that we've ever heard, because I've met goblins in real life. Like I know people who are goblins, so like they exist. Like they're these little annoying, menacing people that just like are gross little. They fuck your life up and they just are out for themselves and stuff. Like they look like it. They have the pointy ears and the gaunt face and I mean, I've met goblins, and they're not pleasant.
That's a good point. And they're the type of people you never see bring the groceries in, never go shopping.
They just live in
yeah.
the hole in the ground.
Yep.
Their poison knife. Creeps.
Yeah. Yep. So right now the only official sightings of goblins are the duende in Mexico.
So people, what they say, they saw a goblin in their house, or what?
There's one video of this dude like fighting one, like it's like
he's
Bigfoot.
fighting a goblin.
Yeah, in like a little like alleyway in Mexico. You can take a look.
Yeah, let's pop it up.
Let's pop it up. Let's see.
Share the screen. Take a look at this bad boy.
Share the old screen here, and let's pop up the old duende.
Let's go look at this duende fight we got going on here.
Yeah, all right. Goblin in Mexico.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to bring up that movie Troll 2, which is a great movie about goblins. I know it's called Troll 2, but they literally call them goblins in the movie, and the town is called Nilbog, which is goblin backwards.
Wow.
Which I'm gonna put as one of the commercials, which is the kid who goes, "They're eating her, and now they're gonna eat me. Oh my god!" Like it's like on the YouTube list of like worst acting things for the past 10 years. Troll 2, goblins. All right, here we go.
Awesome.
In a
Troll
fight
2.
in-
Haven't seen it.
So we put it on the list. We have to watch it together.
Okay, I'm down.
It's a classic. I wouldn't even call it B horror. I call it C. It's all the way past B.
Like zombie strippers,
Yeah, it's like Ginger Dead Man level, like
Iborgs, Ginger Dead Man,
yeah,
zombie
it's like
strippers.
It's a constantly.
Those
like,
are
call it
fun
one of
though,
the worst
dude.
movies
We
ever.
gotta get back to that. Maybe a Gathering of the Eagles. We could do that.
Yeah, we could watch it.
Or at least throw it in the background. Well, we're gonna talk the whole time. That's not fucking not happening. So
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not meant to be soaked in. You're supposed
yeah,
to
we
talk
can't
about it.
sit and watch a movie without shutting up. So
No,
that's
that'd be fun. So here we
yeah.
go. We're gonna have
all right. So guys, clearly
it's
it's a really good video.
we'll kind of
of the-
describe it for the listeners, but
of
just
the-
looking at,
We've got
a little
wow.
hand coming through
We
the
got
wall
a hand.
here.
Yeah, we're zooming in on that. Oh yeah,
that's
no,
very
definitely.
tiny, but
It's
it's
definitely
definitely
a
a hand.
goblin.
It looks almost like a little hole in the ground full of rocks, and is that shit or whatever that is? The little goblin's putting his
could be
hand
shit.
out.
Yeah, so I'd say that's a goblin.
Is that the whole thing?
That's it. So clearly that's a
hilarious.
goblin.
It's a
And
goblin
then
hand.
here's a real life goblin caught on camera in Mexico.
Okay, yeah. So we saw one little hand. Now this is that's a person.
Is that the goblin?
I hope the goblin shows up after this because that's clearly a guy. Oh, the thing that jumped around, that was the goblin?
No, right there. That's him right there.
Oh,
Oh,
there,
shit.
that
Yeah,
little
that was
shadowy
definitely
figure.
a goblin. All right, we don't have time for top 10 goblins
Well,
right now.
That's what we're doing.
But we clearly gave you guys evidence that there's a goblin. But this is what I was saying about the goblin colony.
Oh,
So
that's
these are
very cool.
they
Yeah.
live. This is where they used to live back in the day when they were the Native American name.
That might spark people's tryptophobia or whatever that thing is. Well, little holes, that fear of the little tiny holes. Maybe it's because they're afraid of all the little goblins that live in there.
It's probably what it is. Yeah.
They're gonna gobble you up, goblin
Yeah.
style. Heck
You
yeah,
bet. So
man. Ready for goblin mode?
let's do some goblin mode, dude.
All right. So not only do I love the idea of goblins and would never want to be friends with the one, there's been this ongoing idea on the internet. You know how the internet gets ideas and they say things like YOLO for half a year. So here's a newer one called Goblin Mode, and there's a lot of videos of animals going Goblin Mode. And actually, it's what you picture it being. It's like they go nuts and they go all like and they go crazy and stuff like that. Basically, like giving up your social mores, reckless abandon, just going full Goblin Mode on shit. Like I've been known to do that sometimes. Everyone goes Goblin Mode every once in a while. But I had a story that made me draw this to my head so fast. And there's a section of Reddit called TIFU, which means today I fucked up. And there's stories about people fucking up.
Ooh,
And
I got to get on that.
the more popular they are, you see them more. And there's a lot of fun stories on here. People are usually pretty good at writing them. And I think that almost all the time they're telling the truth, and a lot of times they aren't. But this story really struck me. And I'm just going to read it for the folks here, and I'll see what
Let's
you think
read
about
it.
this, Dylan. This one's called Today I Fucked Up by Telling My Girlfriend to Go Goblin Mode on This Dick. It goes like this. Really messed up. I showed my girlfriend videos of animals going goblin mode because it's one of the best meme types. They just start running around and go nuts. We have this dom sub relationship with me being a dom. A while ago, we were getting down and I start choking her and I told her, I want you to go goblin mode on this dick. I swear I could pinpoint the exact moment where all of the moisture left her body. She asked me to stop, so I did. She left the room and locked herself in the bathroom to, quote, question her life choices. And now things are awkward. We haven't had sex in weeks. She ignores the memes I sent her. Again, talking about memes.
That's the red.
This kid's definitely like
Shit's
21.
fucked up, and she's ignoring memes.
The last thing she said was the internet isn't real life and she's having a hard time finding me sexy anymore. I don't know how I can recover from this. The too long didn't read mode was fucking my girlfriend, told her to go goblin mode on this dick. Turns out that's the worst thing to say if you want someone to go goblin mode on you.
Oh yeah, that's fucking funny.
See, that's the thing. You want people to go goblin mode, but you can't force it. Like, they just
Well,
have
dude,
to.
and you know this story is true. You can tell.
I mean, I just believe it by like how embarrassing and stupid it is.
You can
like,
tell because you
I
said
think
that,
keeping
and
up
then
the
that
memes
happens.
multiple times, and she's like had to question her life. I mean, how funny is that? He's like, I want you to go goblin mode, and she's like, I gotta go. It's not like a date. It's like his
In
girlfriend.
mode.
His girlfriend's like, I don't think I can be with you anymore. It's
Like what? But it's funny. Would have been
goblin
fun.
mode
It's
on this
funny.
dick.
Yeah, exactly. I can picture it exactly, like just like a gremlin ripping apart a bunch of like
Just
newspapers. He's
really
like
going nuts.
that's you need to be thinking of right now.
That
You need to be
on
doing that.
this.
That's that.
That here. She wasn't down for it. She
Oh
was
man,
fucking nuts.
that's funny.
I
Any
have
more good
another
ones? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I know it's my favorite one. This one's pretty good too. And this is one of those ask Reddit kind of questions where people will ask a question and then they'll have much
Okay.
like my friend's podcast. They did. You go to ask Reddit pages and you answer the question. And this question here. It goes, how do I stop my husband from going goblin mode during sex? Again, goblin mode's freeing into the libido.
The sex thing now. Yep. All right.
My husband says, quote, goblin mode activated when he starts to have sex. Growls and acts like a caveman. And then says goblin mode off when we stop. Then he pretends not to know what I'm talking about when I ask him about it. How do I stop him from doing this?
You can't. If
You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
yeah,
it's not him saying that. That's the problem. It's that you like it so much. That's the problem.
yeah, and what he's trying to do is trying to train you, and so he's gonna think it's funny one time when you're out to dinner with your family, and you're sitting there.
He's gonna go goblin mode on your
And
parents.
all he has to do is sit there and everyone's cool, and he just randomly just says goblin mode activated, just to see the look on your face,
The sheer panic.
the sheer panic that it's going to give you, because it's associated with a very, very close
I imagine it's probably
relationship
rather
that you guys
vigorous-
have.
Vigorous.
Yeah, God, that's hilarious. That is so
He's
funny.
going goblin mode. all
Family
the time.
Guy just did that in the newest season, which is awesome.
They went goblin mode.
No, he did this. Lewis has Peter hypnotized to eat her out
Mm-hmm.
because he won't do it.
Right.
So every time the news comes on and it's like, there's that sound on the news that I can't even do it. And when it comes on, he goes,
The broadcast sound. Yeah.
yeah, and he gets like this curly mustache and he just like goes under the sheets and eats her out. And he then that comes on one time by accident and it's a big mistake.
Yeah.
But she tries to
Monkey
train
spots
him and it
situation.
backfired. So all of a sudden she's out with her friends and one of them says goblin mode activated. And
And he goes goblin mode on that.
not good.
so yeah, that's goblins. Going goblin mode on everybody.
That's it. Yeah. So Joe, what do you
I'm
want
gonna
to
get
do?
a shirt. I'm gonna get a goblin mode shirt. Just says goblin mode on it.
Yeah.
And if you know what it means, then you know what it means. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think we should do it. I mean, once we decide on a website name, we're gonna have some merch, and one of them could be Goblin Mode.
I'm throwing goblinsonly.com into the mix.
I ain't fucking complaining. Sounds good.
That one's probably taken. Unlike lobsters only, it's Goblin Mode,
dude.
or
Neither of them
goblinsonly.com.
are. They're
Oh,
fun as
goblins
fuck.
only is also what they call what's it called? OK Cupid. Yeah, that app.
Hey, I've met curls on there before.
And so have I. That's how I know it's goblins only. And I'm on it, so you know. from
It's
one
still
goblin
around.
to
That one's
another.
still around.
Yeah. The last girl I
Yeah,
dated,
that
I
was-
went on there. Yeah.
That was the original for me. That was that's where I started, I think.
Oh,
Actually, I
wow.
might have started on Match.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
so
you don't have to
funny.
pay for OK Cupid, so you know you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and paying doesn't get you love. I promise you. I definitely think I
No.
at one point was like, "Fuck it, I'm getting this." They're just sending me all these fucking talking goblins.
Double diamond premium.
Like, oh, I'll pay $10 a month. Doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I did that when I first got OK Cupid because they have like
You're like, fuck it, I'm gonna give
they
it a
show you how
shot.
many
Yeah.
people have liked you, and I'm like, if you just pay us like $10, you can find out what all those people are. And I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm having a hard time matching.
worth a
it.
shot.
I'm just
yeah.
gonna go for it. I looked it up. All goblins, dude.
Oh, goblins, dude.
I
It's
still
just-
talk to them, but it was straight goblin.
Dude, it's just how it goes. Like, it can be depressing out there being single if you're like shooting for that. If you're not,
Mhm.
just because they I think it's actually, you know, just like TikTok was created to demotivate all of this country
Yeah.
and just shoot down all their hopes and dreams because they get
It's a
addicted to it.
psyop. Yep.
Chinese government made this to make us just completely stop working.
Yes.
I think that dating apps are made to just make people never procreate.
They are good for that.
Yeah, that's it. Because all of a sudden you're like, you know, let me just flip through. You just keep fucking swiping,
Yeah.
and it's just
Like, how
goblin after
undesirable
goblin
am I
after goblin.
really?
And then
Yeah.
the only people who ever respond to you or write to you are goblins.
Yep.
And then occasionally you got it, you figure it out. But like it takes some like serious studying
Yeah,
of like
I
what
saw
to say, how to say it,
saw
and how quickly to
something-
get off the app.
yeah, you're just trying to get off as fast as possible. I saw something again on Reddit, but it was people do these things where it's like a little it's like it's not an org chart, it's this kind of chart with it. They do it with like taxes. They'd be like, here's the revenue, and they'll show you the different streams where it goes off. So this woman did it for Tinder, and when she was a lesbian, she was like, this is lesbian Tinder. It was the most insulting thing I've ever seen in my life. It was like 70 matches, like out of however many. So 70 matches is already a lot. And then it was like, whatever, 5 dates, 2 long-term relationships, 1 marriage. I'm like, you have to be shitting me. I've had, like, if I'm exaggerating or guessing, 2,000 matches, 8 dates, 0 the rest of it. I can't imagine going into 2 long-term relationships from that, and one of them being a marriage out of 70 matches. Like, that's barely any. Like,
That's insane, dude. I got off. I mean, I stopped
it's the
using
most
this, and I was
insulting
like,
thing I've ever seen. I looked at that and I go, I don't show me this shit. I'm mad now.
yeah, no way. I was what, 22, 23, I think, when I stopped dating, and before that, I had dates on these things. I had the whole thing, but it was like, say I had.
It's
I
like
actually
3,000
went
to
on
1,
two dates from dating apps, and
more than that, unfortunately.
yeah, well, dude, it's 22, you know, and but that was, dude, do you know how many times, dude, the statistics of that, dude, I honestly would have said 10,000.
Yeah, one of them was like how many conversations they had, and it was like 30 out of 70. It's like, it's insane. These stats.
I'm like, dude, I've had, I was on it for like a year, and I had, or 2 years tops, and I had 10,000 matches, 50 conversations,
Yeah,
and 2 of them actually went somewhere. And these are
that
people I
sounds more like
chose to.
the stats.
10,000, dude, easily,
Oh, yeah.
dude. 2 years, 10,000 fucking.
Yeah, my
swipe rights?
actual
No
ratio,
question.
not of going on a date,
Not
of
even with
just
the hot
matching
dog,
to talking, is like 5,000 to 1 for actually like
Oh
carrying on
yeah,
the conversation.
no question. Yeah,
Never happens. And when it does, it's like, 1 in a million. You actually meet the person.
yeah, it should be. Yeah, so it's goblinsonly.com.
gobbling it up.
It's only
Goblin
goblins, dude. Yeah.
Yuck.
Only goblins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I've gotten in fights too. I definitely got in a few fights. Do you have any fights?
No. Oh, yeah, all the time. Well, because it's hard. It's like, you
Definitely
know,
gotten
it's so
some fights.
impersonal, and everyone's desperate, so it's like really easy to hurt people's feelings, stuff like that. Like,
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And the openers, I haven't gotten any better at opening. Like I said, I say it to everybody, like, if I meet somebody, the likelihood of them liking me is, I don't know, 1,000% higher than me texting them without ever meeting them. Like, my only goal on all these things is to get in the room with somebody, and then if we don't like each other, it's all good.
That was for me too, dude.
But if I'm just texting you, if I text you for more than 2 days, there's almost 0% chance we're ever going to meet, because I'm not going to say anything clever or whatever. Nope. It's like you're texting. It's the worst. So yeah, I did one this week where I was like, what do you even say? Her profile is like, I like nature, I like tattoos, or something like that. And it's a picture of her.
Sounds hot.
She has tattoo. She has a tattoo on both her arms here of dogs, like a cartoon dog kind of thing, like a caricature. And so I'm like, how do I even start the conversation? We already matched, which means she likes the way I look. Probably not what I'm about or whatever, but likes the way I look. So I go, oh, those tattoos are great. Are those your dogs? Like, did you get tattoos of your own dogs, or they're just like cool dog tattoos? But I just said,
they're dead.
Are those your dogs? And she goes, yeah, they're my dogs. What would they be of? Just dogs in general? And so I was like, you know what? You're not even hot anyway, so shut the fuck. Which is how I'll like insult guys act. But I was like, honestly, I was trying to just start a conversation, and I got so fed up with like something. And that was like the 10th one I did that day, and so I was like, so I looked at her profile again to be like, all right, what's it about? And she only says like 2 things about herself, and one of them was her name was Gabriella, and she goes, don't call me Gabby. So I go back and I go, I don't know, just thinking a way to start a conversation based on nothing besides your pictures, Gabby. I haven't heard back.
That's funny. That's great. I love that.
Like, I get it from both sides, because girls have 100 guys saying nothing.
And all they're doing is just shutting people down. They're selective.
Yeah. So I get that. I get it from her perspective, but I also get it from mine, where it's like, what am I supposed to say? I don't fucking know you. You don't have anything about yourself on here. And the only clever thing I can say is, hey, look at that thing about you. What I would say is, hey, how you doing? Because
that doesn't work.
The thing about those apps too is that even more rare than talking to somebody is having a girl talk to you first. And whenever they do, you know what it says? Hey.
Yep.
Hey.
They don't have to do anything.
Oh, of course. And they're number one. I've seen
3,000 profiles
that say, if you say, hey, or how are you, don't even fucking bother. Like, of course. Yeah, you're tired of that response. I get it. But it's so funny that she's on the other foot. They just go, hey, what's up? The last girl I dated, you know, the first thing she ever said to me, she talked first. Hey.
Hey.
That's it. And then I just start. Now you go, okay, here we go.
There we go.
Lift it up. Now we're going. But it's like, and like I said, I don't blame them for it, but it's kind of sucks that they blame guys for it. But it's because of the same thing where they just get inundated with these messages. You have to be selective. It's the exact opposite.
It's a numbers game
of what guys deal with on there, but it's the same as it's nature. It's
so work for me is I literally had a list
doing a shotgun, and the other person has to decide very carefully what bullet they want to take because it could be the rest of their life. So it's just like sperm versus an egg. It's 10 million versus 1. You have to be more selective about it.
What you said is getting them in person. So what
That's
I
all you can
did
do.
that actually worked was just I had a list of pickup lines that were not mine that are
It's so
proven to
dumb
work.
that those work. Yeah.
So stupid. I cannot believe people think they're funny. I used one of the worst ones of all time on somebody.
Mhm.
I said, "What's shaken bacon?" to a vegan. Didn't know she was a vegan. She said, "Oh no, bacon here," and I was like, "What do you mean?" Like,
Didn't even-
I didn't obviously didn't
It's
read
funny
it.
because you didn't read it because you know
Clearly
she's
not. You know, if she's a vegan, she's fucking
definitely
saying
says
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell does that mean? No bacon here?" I'm like, "Was that fucking?" She's like, "Oh, I'm like, "Oh, cool. What's your number?" That's how it went down exactly.
Yeah.
There was no
that's
talking.
my same plan too. It's always
Straight
how can I
up,
get
just
it
like,
to
yeah.
meeting
Oh,
you
cool,
now?
great.
Because the longer we do this dance, it's like
it just
it's like-
fiery,
it's like-
then it just you can blow it immediately, then it's off. Like that girl drying up for the goblin mode thing.
yeah,
It
I'm not a
happens
poet.
over 1 minute too long of talking.
Of course, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'll never get anyone to like me because of my pictures or because of my text wit. It's always when you meet them in person,
Yeah.
And also when you meet them in person, you find out, you've been trying to impress this.
You fucking hate him.
Yeah, exactly. I've been talking to this girl for a week, but waiting
You're
to
like,
meet her. And
"Oh,
then you meet
shit,
them, and
I
you're like,
don't
oh,
like
this
you at
person
all."
sucks. Yeah. I
And
had
you're
no
like,
idea.
"Oh, boring."
And that could be the same for them too, but you never know till you meet them. So just if you're
It's
people
true.
out there,
Yeah,
if
Dylan
you're
Joe
willing to
Basin
date
podcast,
people,
dating.
just go on the date. As long as you find out they're not a serial killer, just date them, and then you'll know right away if you like them or not, and you don't have to waste 2 weeks texting them, "How are you today?" and all that other bullshit like you're married already. You don't even know the person. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Goblin
exactly.
mode right.
Yeah, statistically, you're a guy. If they kill you, it's just not even your fault. So, I mean, yeah. So that is Goblins without final thoughts yet, and dating advice from the Dylan Joe Basin podcast. If you're on the apps,
Yeah.
get
you wanna
them
do
in
final
person as
thoughts
quick
on
as you
that?
can,
Get
and
them
avoid the
first.
goblins because they're out there. If you don't take control and you don't choose what you want, they'll choose you.
Mhm.
They will choose you, and they always do.
They always
And
do.
that will ruin your night. And all of a sudden, there's all that's left is the ones that chose you. You don't want them.
Not fun.
You did not want the ones that pick you. Promise.
Yeah, you gotta pick them.
Last call at a bar type of shit. Not good.
Hmm.
Yeah. You pick what you want, kings, and you get out there. Pick it. Own it.
Go for it.
You don't want the goblin at the end of the night coming to get you
No.
because you won't sleep as well. I promise. Knowing that's
Yeah,
all
you're
you
gonna
think
wake
is
up with
out
a
there
bunch
on the
of-
world of all billions of girls in the world.
Mhm.
The goblins on the dating apps that come at you at 1 a.m. are the ones that will make you depressed. So because they are
the poison toothpick.
yes, they will. Yeah, that's not even that. They just want to talk to you and be with you and give you everything you ever want. You don't. It's a trap. It's a trap for some reason, unexplainable reason. You just don't want that.
Okay. We look good. Oh, thank God you're here. Oh my God, you have no idea, man. Are we good? Okay. I don't have much time. Tomatoes. Oh my God, the tomatoes, they're almost gone. As soon as the tomatoes are gone, we're all fucked. I mean, I don't know what's going on yet. We're still working on figuring it out. But all we know from our math, within 10 years, between 8 and 40% of the tomatoes in the world are going to be gone. You think it's stupid, you think it's tomatoes, you don't know, you don't understand You do not understand what goes into our world with tomatoes. They're the most important produce in the world. As soon as they're gone, we're done. And we don't have much time. So please, anything you can do to help. I don't know what will help, but we'll figure it out. But please, come help us. Save us.
So what do you guys think about the old final segment of the podcast Island Goblins?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I can't even do it right now. Joe, who started final thoughts?
I'll start if you want.
Yeah, do it. Let's go.
Goblins, they're freaky, they're creepy, they're unpleasant, and I think they're cool as hell. I think they're a lot of fun. They're a fun part of mythology, and most importantly for me, fiction. Like I said, in video games and movies, they're such a cool little part of it, little sneaky little bastards. And I think like all the things you say in this podcast, and like you brought up in Mexico, Korea, and the Mediterranean and England, they all are this like archetype that exists in all human culture, and they're spooky little creepy little ghouls or gremlins or goblins, but they're up to no good, and I think they're a lot of fun, and I like them, and I want them to be part of the world going forward. I don't want to be friends with them. They sound really awful to be around, but I'm glad they exist, and they're gonna steal my gold and carve little names in my skin when I'm sleeping, and just all around freak me out and cause mischief and all kinds of tomfoolery and creepiness. In summation, I want them to go goblin mode on my dick.
Well said, Joe.
Thank you.
Well said. Maybe on the dating apps, maybe start off with that. Like, will you go goblin mode on me? See how that goes.
A bad idea, because
let us know, dude. It's a numbers game. They're not going to meet these people.
Yeah, and also,
maybe one of them will be into that. You never fucking
right
these days, dude.
So
you never
boring. Know. It's like you got to stand out, and being a goblin would stand out a lot.
You have nothing to lose. You could say what shaken bacon, like I've said, or hey, your chances are equally.
I love how that's a pickup. That's not a pickup line. It's like a phrase. Like so.
No, it
pickup
works.
Lines are like, here's like my example of pickup line. It's like, oh, did it hurt? And it's like, well, did what hurt? It's like, oh, when you fell down from heaven, like those kind of things. I thought you could say literally, what's shaken bacon is a synonym for what's up. Like that's even less effort than the stupid angel joke or something like that. But the amount of times that works is insane. Like I've seen all kinds of posts, people being like, I mean, not the exact words, but the equivalent of like, did it hurt? And then they go like that. And the girl goes, oh my God, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Now you're talking. I'll see you next weekend. Yeah,
exactly. So maybe, you want to maybe make it about that. Maybe you want to go goblin mode together. Mm-hmm. Then you just have this crazy fucking night.
Let's be goblins. Feed me after midnight.
Yeah, say it. I mean, I think you've absolutely nothing to lose.
Nothing.
So anyways, nothing to lose at all. You know this. You've played this game for long enough.
Yep.
Nothing to lose out there. So, and
what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are that two things. I think that, as most things, history was written by the victors or by the mainstream narrative of all time, which was religion. So if goblins were genocided and holocausted to the oblivion, literally.
Ooh, Goblin Holocaust is a really cool name. I don't know what it's for, but Goblin Holocaust is really cool. Like
that's
for a band
our
or something.
Band name? Our band name?
That's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like every concert go, hey guys, I'm Dylan here. And we're Goblin Holocaust.
We're about to go goblin mode on this audience. 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're Goblin Holocaust. We want to shout to you guys the unwritten parts of history. Goblin Holocaust comes from the fact that for the past 50,000 years, there have been goblins here. And then the Catholics holocausted them. They're all gone.
Now we're on tricky territory here for the internet when it comes to the Harry Potter goblins that run the banks.
They run the banks and it's just, we're not doing great. But anyway, so anyways, the goblins, no one fucking knows, man, dude. It's all dissolved at this point. So that, and then I also have very, very fond memories of, honestly, one of the biggest parts of Breath of the Wild is the
Or goblins.
Yeah, goblikins.
I think it's bokoblins or
Bokoblins. Yeah, bokoblins. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bokoblins, they make they're very vocal. They have a lot of the noise in the game, and they're fucking
it's fun
everywhere.
when you just give them a good whack and they do a backflip when you get with the big tree branch.
Fucking just obliterate them.
I'll try to see if I can't put that sound effect in there.
Oh, please do. It's like the best sound ever. Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. So goblins are fucking cool shit. I hope they were real. I really do. I like the fact that everyone was talking about them at the same time. So there's a chance that there was something like this. The world's beautiful as it is, but when these things were there and all this other weird mythical shit that were put into a lot of folklore, I don't know, guys. So those are my final thoughts on goblins, and we will see you guys next week for another spooky dooky episode. Probably, right? When's the 31st?
No, we're done. This is the end of spooky month.
Oh yeah, Monday is the end of spooky month.
So it's been another great spooky month this year, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We went a little bit off the beaten path this year, and I liked it a lot. We went Shark Week, phobias. We went another thing.
Goblins,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it was good. So we got some crazy shit coming on next month. We're trying to have some more guests. I got to go back to fucking Germany in a week. So it's gonna definitely put a damper on one episode at least.
Watch out for those Elk Kings or whatever they're called, Earl Kings.
I think it's
German
Earl Kings. Yeah, I'll take a look. If they're anywhere, they're in Dusseldorf. That's
you better
fact.
be careful.
Yeah,
and watch out for Dumbledore while you're there too.
They will. So hopefully give you guys an update from Germany, but there's not a lot to see. So.
Well, film a commercial out there for us, would you?
Yeah, I'll get you guys one.
I think this is the last week I have Cape commercials, so
okay.
We're out of commercials here. But
all right,
make some more.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, either Lufthansa Airlines or United. So yeah, I am taking a train from Frankfurt to Dusseldorf. That'll be cool. So
that'll be cool.
I look forward to actually seeing something this time. Or it's just raining gray and I'm driving a Golf on the Autobahn with just nothing to see. There's nothing. It's like driving on the fucking Mass Pike. There's nothing there.
Yeah. In fairness, that is the most German thing you could do is drive on the Autobahn.
Volkswagen on the Autobahn.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Just see nothing.
All you see is signs that either say the speed limit or it says the Rhine River. And you're like, oh, cool. This is what I'm going over.
Ich liebe Rhine River.
So, yeah, cool guys. All right, well, we'll catch you guys next week, and then I'll be off to Europe, and I'll see you guys when we get back.
Let's go Goblin Mode.
Yep, everyone ask your wives and girlfriends if they want to go Goblin Mode on you and see how it goes. Right in the comments.
You're not gonna regret it.
You might not. I mean, if your chick's cool, dude, just chill, whatever.
You got a goblin in your house.
Yeah, it's it's a good thing. I love you guys.
In Goblin Mode.
Wait.
I'm just gonna read it for the folks here, and I'll see what
Let's read it.
Dylan. This one's called "Today I fucked up by telling my girlfriend to go Goblin Mode on this dick." Goes like this. Well, Goblins Only is also what they call what's it called? OK Cupid. Yeah, that app.
Hey, I've met girls on there before.
And so have I.
You pick what you want, kings, and you get out there.
That way.
They are.
Little...
They do not provide anything. They just go take a place that is like 30 years of meticulously maintenance and thought out and design and new paint and clean floors and clean bathrooms and just shit, piss, eat all the food.
Yep.
Possibly drink all the alcohol.
Just
fucking just sleep naked and jerk off in the bed and like just all these things and just thank you, leave,
Yeah, and then you leave.
That's a goblin.
That's
yeah. Bathing. Started not bathing when he was in his 30s.
Wow, yeah.
So is that you?
There's still time for us.
Oh yeah.
Start not bathing.
Dude, easily. Could live in a van down by the river. It doesn't. That shit shows up in your 30s. It doesn't get started in your 20s.
Yeah.
So, anyways, with this guy, I just want to say, dogs. I don't know. And then on the way back, I talked to them. So that was.
No, you didn't.
Because they were leaving, like they were walking somewhere else, and I was like, he was like, dude, I love your shirt, man. I was like, thanks, man. Love your dick.